Welcome back. All right, 13 games on Saturday. It is a full day of hockey. I've tried to do something a little bit different with today's preview, getting into some stats that I don't normally talk about. So the first game starts at noon Eastern, which is 9 a.m. my time. So that's an early start. The last game starts at 7:30 p.m., which is 7:30 p.m. my time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So that is 10 and a half hours between the first start time and the last start time. Man, that's a long time. Anyways, just seeing it, and just processing it. Yeah, I've got a full day of hockey ahead of me. So 9 o'clock in the morning, my time, noon Eastern. The St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings. This will have my undivided attention for the first 2 hours. I'm hoping this is a really good game. On December 12th, Detroit won this game in St. Louis 6-4. So it was an 80s game, right? So St. Louis 30-24-2 on the season. They are 4 points back of the LA Kings for that number one wildcard spot. They're tied with Nashville. They are above the playoff line as the number two wildcard. But yeah, that fight is probably going to go the rest of the season. Away from home, St. Louis has a record of 13-13-1 in terms of hits. They have 19.65 hits per game. 14.34 blocked shots per game, per 60 minutes, I should say, because per game is different than per 60 minutes. They are 24-2 when they score first. That first goal is very important to St. Louis, but as you'll see when we go through, that first goal is very important to most teams, including Detroit. They are 30-20-6 on the season. They're 6 points back at Toronto for that number three spot in the division. They are 1 point ahead of Tampa, so they are the number one wild card. At home, they're 16-8-5. That's a very good number. Their hits, 18.44 per 60 minutes. Their block shots, 16.22 per 60 minutes. So, St. Louis hits more, Detroit blocks more. And at home, Detroit, or I shouldn't say at home, scoring first, Detroit is 19-5-4. All right, so you can let me know who you think is going to win that game as well as all the others. 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, the Montreal Canadiens and New Jersey Devils play for the third and final time. October 24th, New Jersey won 5-2. January 17th, Montreal won 3-2. The Habs 22-27-8. They have fallen 13 points back of Tampa Bay in that number two wildcard spot. Away from home, they're 11-11-5. Their hits 21.22 hits per game, like hits per 60. 16.88 blocks per 60 minutes. And if they score first, they're 14-8-5. So not bad. But it's definitely better than their 22-27-8 record. On the New Jersey side, they're 28-24-4. They're 5 points back at Tampa Bay in that final playoff spot. At home, they're 13-14-2. Ask any New Jersey fan, how does your team play at home? They might start being very upset, and you might think they have something bothering them. Rough's not been fired-itis, I guess. Their hits, 21.75 hits per 60 minutes. Block shots, 13.2 blocks per 60 minutes. It's just fun to talk about the Lindy Ruff, Fire Lindy stuff because it's been going on for years now. Scoring first, New Jersey doesn't do it. They're 11-3-2 when they score first. That's 16 times out of 56 games. They need to get on the board first. Those slow starts are just killing them, and it's left them 5 points back. Also, they need a goalie. Also at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, the Tampa Bay Lightning in against the New York Islanders. This is the second of three meetings. On February 8th, the Islanders won 6-2. The third and final meeting will be March the 30th. Tampa Bay is 30-23-5. I did the video on them today. They're 1 point back at Detroit for that number one wildcard spot. They're 5 points ahead of Washington, New Jersey, and the Islanders. So it is a crowded Eastern picture. We'll see how many of them stay within 5 points and if any of them can get closer to Tampa, including the fact they're against one of the teams they're 5 points ahead of tomorrow. Tampa Bay can help themselves out with a win here. But away from home, not a great record. 12-15-2. Hits per 60 minutes, pretty high at 22.89. Blocks per 60 minutes is lower, 14.65, and it's lower than the block shots for the Islanders as well as the hits. But we know the Islanders hit a lot. They're 23-19-14 on the season. That should not be a 4. That should be a 14. So let me just go ahead and fix that. They're 5 points back at Tampa Bay. At home, they're 13-7-9. 25.86 hits per 60 minutes. They like the hitting. They also like the blocking. 18.59 blocks per 60 minutes. When they score first, they are 16-3-9. So again, scoring first is really important in the National Hockey League. The Rangers and the Flyers will meet at 3 o'clock Eastern, which is noon Pacific. November 24th, the Rangers won 3-1. These teams will meet again March the 26th as well as April the 11th. The Rangers are 38-16-3 on the season. They are first in the Metro Division. Away from home, they're 18-9-3. Excellent numbers. Hits per 60 minutes, 24.23. Blocked shots per 60 minutes, 16.03. If they score first, they are 25-6-2. Philadelphia, 30-20-7 overall. They are 6 points back of Carolina for second in the division. They are 7 points ahead of Washington, New Jersey, and the Islanders in third place. At home, they're 14-12-2. They need to work on that, of course. Hits per 60 minutes, 22.64. Blocks per 60 minutes, 17.85. When they score first, they are 22-4-3. I would expect most people are going to take the Rangers in this one. Away record favors the Rangers. Overall record favors the Rangers. That's my expectation. But I think this one should be close. Washington and the Florida Panthers meet at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. So these 4 games I should be able to have reviewed before this one gets started, meaning that my final review of the night should be 9 games long. Florida's won the first 2 meetings against Washington. They're looking for the sweep. They won 4-3 in overtime on November the 8th. They also won 4-2 on February the 8th. So for Washington, they're 26-21-8 overall. They're 5 points back of Tampa Bay for that final playoff spot. Away from home, they're 12-12-3. Their hits per game, like per 60 minutes, 19.8. Blocks per 60 minutes, 16.36. When they score first, they're 17-3-4. On the Florida side, they're 37-18-4 overall. They're 2 points back of the Boston Bruins. They're 6 points ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So really, those top 3, that's likely going to be the top 3 in that division at the end of the season. At home, Florida 17-8-2, 25.84 hits per 60 minutes. Block shots, not a ton. 12.74 block shots per 60 minutes. If they score first, they are really hard to beat. 24-1-4 on the season. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We have 3 games starting then, beginning with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado won this matchup January the 13th by a score of 5-3. Toronto's 32-16-8. They've been loving this road trip. They're 6 points back of Florida. They're 6 points ahead of Detroit in the standings. Away from home, they're 17-6-6. They love playing on the road. 24.92 hits per 60 minutes, 16.53 blocks per 60 minutes. They are 21-8-4 when they score first. Very important score first in this league. Colorado, 35-18-5 overall. They are 1 point back of the Dallas Stars atop the division. 2 points clear of Winnipeg. And at home, they're 22-5. Very good home record for Colorado. Hits per 60 minutes, not a lot, 19.85. Block shots, 14.97 per 60 minutes. When they score first, they're 21-5-5. I was fascinated to see how important that first goal is. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Ottawa Senators. December 17th in Vegas, the Golden Knights won 6-3. Vegas is 32-19-6 overall. They're 10 points back of Vancouver for first in the division. They are 2 points ahead of Edmonton. Edmonton lost a chance to tie Vegas tonight. Away from home, Vegas is 13-10-4. So they're much better at the Fortress than on the road right now. Their hits per 60 minutes, 23.26. So that's pretty good. Block shots per 60, 18.53. I would imagine all of those are Alec Martinez. They are 23-6-3 when they score first. Very important. Ottawa, 24-27-3 on the season. They're 14 points behind Tampa Bay for that final playoff spot with 28 games left, and I'm still seeing fans talking about, maybe. No. They are 16-13-2 at home. Their hits per 60 minutes, 23.23. Blocks per 60 minutes, 16.73, and they are 16-13 when they score first. That's not a great number when they score first, comparatively speaking, with the others on the board. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, it's an early start in Vancouver as they play host to the Boston Bruins. This should be fun. Boston won the first matchup February the 8th by a score of 4-0. This one's in Vancouver. I expect Vancouver to get up. They've lost 4 in a row. They need this one. Boston 34-12-12 on the season, first in the Atlantic, tied for first overall with the Vancouver Canucks. Away from home, they're 16-5-7. It's been a long road trip. They're tired. The Canucks are coming off a long road trip. They could be tired as well. We'll see if that means sloppy hockey or really quiet hockey. Quiet meaning not a ton of shots, a lot of sort of a chess match type game. So 25.29 hits per 60 minutes for Boston, 15.22 blocks per 60 minutes. and they're 25-4-6 when they score first. Vancouver on the other side of this, 37-16-6 overall. They're, of course, first in the Pacific Division. At home, they're 19-5-2. Their hits per 60 minutes, 23.64. Block shots per 60 minutes, 14.18. And when they score first, they're 28-9-2. Surprisingly, they've got more losses when they score first than a lot of other teams on the board, but they do score first a lot. That's 39 times they've scored first so far this year. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between the Dallas Stars and the Carolina Hurricanes. Dallas won the first matchup at home, 4-2 on February 13th. That was a game where I was like, yep, Dallas has got it going. And since then, it's been kind of up and down. Dallas is 34-16-8. They're coming off that kind of rough loss against Ottawa the other night. First in the Central, though, 17-8-5 on the road. 17.13 hits per 60 minutes, which is low. 14.83 blocks per 60 minutes. When they score first, they're 19-3-5 on the year. For Carolina, they're 34-17-5. They're 6 points back of the New York Rangers. They're 6 points ahead of Philadelphia, pretty entrenched in that second spot. At home, they're 19-6-4. Very good home record. Hits per 60 minutes, 17.31. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's not going to be a lot of hits in this one. 10.9 blocks per 60 minutes, so not a lot of block shots for either of these teams. 23-6-2 is the record for Carolina when they score first. It is remarkable the block shots for Carolina are that low, considering there's not very many shots that hit the net either. So it's not like teams are getting a ton of opportunities and those shots are being blocked. They just don't give up time in their own zone to the other team. We'll see if Dallas can change that. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. So we got 4 late games too, which is unusual for a Saturday. Beginning with the Battle of Alberta, Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton's won the first 2 meetings so far, 5-2 on October 29th, 3-1 on January 20th, April the 6th, the 4th and final meeting. I expect a lot of people pick Edmonton for this one. I don't know, we'll see. Calgary's 27-25-5 on the year. They're 3 points back of St. Louis and Nashville. They're tied with Seattle in points currently. Away from home, they're 13-12-4. Hits per 60 minutes, 20.05. Block shots per 60 minutes, 16.72. When they score first, they're 16-9-3 on the year. For Edmonton, they are 33-19-2. They're 2 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights for that third spot, I should say. No, second spot in the division. And they are 2 points ahead of LA. So LA right there, wildcard team or third place. That could change tomorrow. At home, the Oilers 17-7-2. 21.4 hits per 60 minutes, 13.52 blocks per 60 minutes. When they score first, they're 28-1. A lot of people watching this are going to be like, hey, so we can just turn the game off after that first goal. Kinda. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific start between the Minnesota Wild and the Seattle Kraken. Minnesota, Gustafsson stole one tonight, so I'm expecting Fleury to start this one. We'll see. Minnesota won the first matchup 3-0 on December the 10th. The third and final meeting will be on April the 18th. Minnesota's 27-24-6. They're only 2 points out of the playoffs behind St. Louis and Nashville. They are 1 point ahead of Seattle and Calgary. Away from home, they're 13-13-2. They're 20.99 hits per 60 minutes. Not bad. 15.71 block shots per 60 minutes. When they score first, they're 19-5-4 on the year. Seattle 24-21-11 overall. They're 3 points back of St. Louis and Nashville for that final playoff spot. As previously mentioned, they're tied with Calgary. Home record 12-9-5. That needs to improve. 21.41 hits per 60 minutes, 14.75 blocks per 60 minutes. They're 15-6-4 when they score first this year. Also at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, the Nashville Predators, the San Jose Sharks. Nashville won the first matchup October 21st, 5-1. San Jose was going through some stuff. That's why I just messed up on the name there. The third and final meeting will be on March the 19th. Nashville 30-25-2 overall. They're tied with St. Louis, as previously mentioned, but they're below the playoff line, so they're going to need a little bit of help there right now, at least. They're 3 points clear of Seattle and Calgary. Away from home, they are 16-10-2 on the season. Of course, they're also 2 points clear of Minnesota. I should mention that, right? Just like for St. Louis, they are 4 points clear, or 2 points clear of Minnesota. Anyways, Nashville on the road, 16-10-2. 27.71 hits per 60 minutes. Nashville likes hitting. They always have. Reason they call it Smashville. 15.52 blocks per 60 minutes when they score first. Very good record, 22-8-1. San Jose, 15-35-5 on the year. 27 points behind St. Louis and Nashville. So if they win this one over Nashville, they're only 25 points behind Nashville. They can reel them in. At home, they're 9-15-2, which looks better than I might have thought. Honestly, 9 wins isn't bad for how San Jose season started. 23.43 hits per 60 minutes, 18.99 blocks per 60 minutes, 11-8-3 when they score first. So if they score first, you don't turn off a San Jose game. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win it. A lot of teams on the board, I mean, they lose games when they score first, but yeah, that first goal is really, really key. 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. It's a Battle of California. Will this be done in regulation? Will it take extra time? We'll see. So November 24th, LA won 5-2. These teams will meet again April 9th and April 13th. For Anaheim, they may very well have a decision in how LA's season finishes up, and they could hurt LA's chances with a win tomorrow, depending on what happens elsewhere in the league. So Anaheim's basically playing spoiler. They're 20-34-2 overall. They are 20 points out of the playoffs behind St. Louis and Nashville. Away from home, they're 12-15-1, which isn't a great record, but it's better than their home record. 23.53 hits per 60 minutes, 16.33 blocks per 60 minutes. When they score first, they're 12-9-1. On the LA side of things, they're 28-17-10, coming off of a loss against Nashville. They should be smarting from that one. They're 2 points behind Edmonton. They're 4 points ahead of St. Louis in that number one wildcard spot. At home, they're 10-10-6. Not a great home record. They need to improve that. Will Ferrell's in attendance every game. You got to get those wins for Will Ferrell. 20.83 hits per 60 minutes, 14.83 blocks per 60 minutes. When they score first, very tough to beat. They're 23-7. So there you go. You got all the information that I provided for you right now. Let me know your picks in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I enjoy watching these games. If I don't, doesn't matter. I'm still watching the games. All right. Thank you guys for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.